Good morning. Today's Bible reading comes from 1 Samuel 21 through 24. All right, let's get into it. So now David's on the run. David went on his way and Jonathan returned to town. Now David went to Nob to Ahimelech the priest. Ahimelech was alarmed as he went out to greet David. "What are you doing here all by yourself, and not a soul with you?" David answered, "Ahimelech the priest. The king sent me out on a mission and gave strict orders. This is top secret. Not a word of this to a soul. I've arranged to meet up with my men in a certain place. Now what's there here to eat? Do you have 5 loaves of bread? Give me whatever you can scrounge up." "I don't have any regular bread on hand," said the priest. "I only have holy bread. If your men have not slept with women recently, it's yours." David said, "None of us has touched a woman. I always do it this way when I'm on a mission. My men abstain from sex. Even when it is an ordinary mission, we do that. How much more this holy mission?" So the priest gave him the holy bread. It was the only bread he had. Priest of the presence that had been removed from God's presence and replaced by fresh bread at the same time. One of Saul's officials was present that day, keeping a religious vow. His name was Doeg the Edomite. He was the chief of Saul's shepherds. David asked Ahimelech, "Do you have a spear or sword of any kind around here?" "I didn't have a chance to grab my weapons. The king's mission was urgent, and I left in a hurry." The priest said, "The sword of Goliath, the Philistine you killed at Oak Valley, that's here. It's behind the ephod wrapped in a cloth. If you want it, take it. There's nothing else here." "Oh," said David, "there's no sword like that. Give it to me." And at that, David shot out of there, running for his life from Saul. He went to Achish, the king of Gath. When the servants of Achish saw him, they said, "Can this be David, the famous David? Is this the one they sing at their dances? Saul kills by the 1,000, David by the 10,000. When David realized that he had been recognized, he panicked, fearing the worst from Achish, king of Gath. So right there, while they were looking at him, he pretended to go crazy, pounding his head on the city gate and foaming at the mouth, spit dripping from his beard. Achish took one look at him and said to his servants, "Can't you see he's crazy? Why did you let him in here? Don't you think I have enough crazy people to put up with as it is without adding another? Get him out of here." So David got away and escaped to the cave of Adullam. When his brothers and others associated with his family heard where he was, they came down and joined him. Not only that, but all who were down on their luck came around, losers and vagrants and misfits of all sorts. David became their leader. There were about 400 in all. Then David went to Mizpah in Moab. He petitioned the king of Moab, "Grant asylum to my father and mother till I find out what God has planned for me." David left his parents in the care of the king of Moab. They stayed there through the time that David was hiding out. The prophet Gad told David, "Don't go back to the cave. Go to Judah." David did what he told him. He went to the forest of Hereth. Saul got word of the whereabouts of David and his men. He was sitting under the big oak on the hill at Gibeah at the time, spear in hand, holding court surrounded by his officials. He said, "Listen here, you Benjamites. Don't think for a minute that you have any future with the son of Jesse. Do you think he's going to hand over choice land? Give you all influential jobs? Think again. Here you are, conspiring against me, whispering behind my back. Not one of you is man enough to tell me that my own son is making deals with the son of Jesse. Not one of you cares enough to tell me that my son is taking the side of this outlaw. Then Doeg the Edomite, who was standing with Saul's officials, spoke up. I saw the son of Jesse meet with Ahimelech, son of Ahitub, in Nob. I saw Ahimelech pray with him for God's guidance, give him food, and arm him with the sword of Goliath, the Philistine. Boy, I'm way in the future, not even the same Saul. Saul sent for the priest Ahimelech, son of Ahitub, along with the whole family of priests at Nob. They all came to the king. Saul said, You listen to me, son of Ahitub. Certainly, master, he said. Why have you ganged up against me with the son of Jesse, giving him bread and a sword, even praying with him for God's guidance, setting him up as an outlaw, out to get me? Ahimelech answered the king, There's not an official in your administration as true to you as David, your own son-in-law and captain of your bodyguard. None more honorable either. Do you think that this was the first time I prayed with him for God's guidance? Hardly. Don't accuse me of any wrongdoing. Me or my family. I have no idea what you're trying to get at with this outlaw talk. The king said, Death, Ahimelech. You're going to die, you and everyone in your family. The king ordered his henchmen surround and kill the priest of God. They're hand in glove with David. They knew he was running away from me and didn't tell me. But the king's men wouldn't do it. They refused to lay a hand on the priest of God. Then the king told Doeg, You do it. Massacre the priest. Doeg the Edomite led the attack and slaughtered the priest, the 85 men who wore sacred robes. He then carried the massacre into Nob, the city of priests, killing man and woman, child and baby, ox, donkey, and sheep, the works. Only one son of Ahimelech, son of Ahitub, escaped, Abiathar. He got away and joined up with David. Abiathar reported to David that Saul had murdered the priest of God. David said to Abiathar, I knew it. That day I saw Doeg the Edomite there, I knew he'd tell Saul. I'm to blame for the death of everyone in your father's family. Stay here with me. Don't be afraid. The one out to kill you is out to kill me, too. Stick with me. I'll protect you. It was reported to David that the Philistines were raiding Keilah and looting the grain. David went in prayer to God. Should I go after these Philistines and teach them a lesson? God said, Go, attack the Philistines and save Keilah. But David's men said, We live in fear of our lives right here in Judah. How can you think of going to Keilah in the thick of the Philistines? So David went back to God in prayer. God said, Get going. Head for Keilah. I'm placing the Philistines in your hand. David and his men went to Keilah and fought the Philistines. He scattered their cattle, beat them decisively, and saved the people of Keilah. After Abiathar took refuge with David, he joined David in the raid on Keilah, bringing the ephod with him. Saul learned that David had gone to Keilah and thought immediately, Good. God has handed him to me on a platter. He is in a walled city with locked gates, trapped. Saul mustered his troops for a battle, set out for Keilah to lay siege to David and his men. But David got wind of Saul's strategy to destroy him and said to Abiathar the priest, Get the ephod. Then David prayed to God, God of Israel, I've just heard that Saul plans to come to Keilah and to destroy the city because of me. Will the city fathers of Keilah turn me over to him? Will Saul come down and do what I've heard? Oh God, God of Israel, tell me. God replied, He's coming down. And will the head of men of Keilah turn me and my men over to Saul? And God answered, They'll turn you over. So David and his men got out of there. There were about 600 of them. They left Keilah, kept moving, going here, there, wherever, always on the move. When Saul was told that David had escaped from Keilah, he called off the raid. David continued to live in desert hideaways, hideouts in the backcountry, wilderness hills of Ziph. Saul was out looking for him day after day, but God never turned David over to him. David kept out of the way in the wilderness of Ziph, secluded at Horesh, since it was plain that Saul was determined to hunt him down. Jonathan, Saul's son, visited David at Horesh and encouraged him in God. He said, Don't despair. My father Saul can't lay a hand on you. You will be Israel's king, and I'll be right on your side to help. And my father knows it. Then the two of them made a covenant before God. David stayed at Horesh, and Jonathan went home. Some Ziphites went to Saul at Gibeah and said, Did you know that David is hiding out near us in the caves and canyons of Horesh? Right now he's at Hakilah Hill, just south of Jeshimon. So whenever you're ready to come down, we'd count it an honor to hand him over to the king. Saul said, God bless you for thinking about me. Now go back and check everything out. Learn his routines. Observe his movements, where he goes, who he's with. He's very shrewd, you know. Scout out all his hiding places, then meet me at Nacon, and I'll go with you. If he is anywhere to be found in all the thousands of Judah, I'll track him down. So the Ziphites set out on their reconnaissance for Saul. Meanwhile, David and his men were in the wilderness of Maon, in the desert south of Jeshimon. Saul and his men arrived and began their search. When David heard of it, he went south to Rock Mountain, camping out in the wilderness of Maon. Saul heard where he was and set off for the wilderness of Maon in pursuit. Saul was on one side of the mountain, David and his men on the other. David was in full retreat, running, with Saul and his men closing in. About to get him, just then a messenger came to Saul. Hurry, come back. The Philistines have just attacked the country. So Saul called off his pursuit of David and went back to deal with the Philistines. That's how that place got the name Narrow Escape. David left there and camped out in the caves and canyons of En-Gedi. When Saul came back after dealing with the Philistines, he was told, David is now in the wilderness of En-Gedi. Saul took 3 companies, the best he could find in all Israel, and set out in search of David and his men in the region of Wild Goat Rocks. He came to some sheep pens along the road. There was a cave there, and Saul went in to relieve himself. David and his men were huddled far back in the same cave. David's men whispered to him, Can you believe it? This is the day God was talking about when he said, I'll put your enemy in your hands. You can do whatever you want with him. Quiet as a cat, David crept up and cut off a piece of Saul's royal robe. Immediately he felt guilty. He said to his men, God forbid that I should have done this to my master, God's anointed, that I should so much as raise a finger against him. He's God's anointed. David held his men in check with these words and wouldn't let them pounce on Saul. Saul got up, left the cave, and went on down the road. Then Saul stood at the mouth of the cave and called to Saul, "My master, my king." Saul looked back. David fell to his knees and bowed in reverence. He called out, "Why do you listen to those who say, 'David is out to get you'? This very day, with your very own eyes, you have seen that just now, in the cave, God put you in my hands. My men wanted me to kill you, but I wouldn't do it. I told them that I won't lift a finger against my master. He's God's anointed. Oh, my father, look at this. Look at this piece that I cut from your robe. I could have cut you, killed you, but I didn't. Look at the evidence. I'm not against you. I'm no rebel. I haven't sinned against you, and yet you're hunting me down to kill me. Let's decide which of us is in the right. God may avenge me, but it is in his hands, not mine." An old proverb says, "Evil deeds come from evil people." So be assured that my hand won't touch you. What does the king of Israel think he's doing? Who do you think you're chasing? A dead dog? A flea? God is our judge. He'll decide who is right. Oh, that he would look down right now, decide right now, and set me free of you. When David had finished saying all this, Saul said, "Can this be the voice of my son David?" And he wept in loud sobs. "You're the one in the right, not me," he continued. "You've heaped good on me. I've dumped evil on you. And now you've done it again, treated me generously. God put me in your hands and you didn't kill me. Why? When a man meets his enemy, does he send him down the road with a blessing? May God give you a bonus of blessings for what you've done for me today. I know now beyond doubt that you will rule as king. The kingdom of Israel is already in your grasp. Now promise me under God that you will not kill off my family or wipe my name off the books." David promised Saul. Then Saul went home, and David and his own men went up to their wilderness refuge. And that is it for today's Bible reading. As always, get in touch with God today, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.